Yo, yo, yo. We are back. Let's go live on IG. Get the live on IG going, and then we are in the money. All right, cool. IG is on. We're just gonna get some time. We're gonna get time, Jared, for people to come in.
That's what these songs.
Mhm. How you feel, man?
Man, I feel good. A little bit tired, but loose as a goose. I got a little bit of a flow in before we get started. Had to gotta move the body to wake up the mind. So, but now accomplished. A lot of things done, knocked off the to-do list. Spring cleaning is a real thing. Man, I'm in the flow. What about you?
Day didn't go originally as planned, but it's been a great day. Great workout this morning. I've been consistent in the gym this week, so great workout this morning, and then ended up kicking it with my brother. Man, he's in town. Um, So chopping it over him. My goddaughter's birthday was today, so we did lunch, and then after that, just keep it with my homie. And time well spent.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds like today.
Time well spent. Time well spent. Um, we're gonna get going. For those who are here, once again, we are back. This is another Heal Me campaign. Brotherly conversations were nightly. Through the nights of Sunday through Thursday night, I talk with other African American men about the difficulties of couples they faced in life and essentially how they've got through it. We started this because in 2019, I wrote a song entitled Heal Me featuring Grammy nominated artist Raheem Devon, which talks about how my father raised me and how he inadvertently taught me some really bad habits for coping with pain and adversity. And so I hope tonight through this conversation, uh, Layla, can you tell me really quick how does it sound? Is the sound coming through clear through IG? Um, but the hope tonight, right, is through this conversation with the men that I talk with is that one, brothers who are experiencing a difficulty currently, right, who might be experiencing currently experiencing some pain or adversity, one, that they will know that they are not alone. Two, that they'll be able to see that they can make it through, and then three, they can hear some strategies that they may be able to employ themselves to get back to a place of peace, power, and purpose. Our guest tonight is Jarek, the floating yogi. Jarek, tell us who you are, what you got going on. You know, fill us in. What's who you? How do we find you? How do we support you? How do we rock with you?
Okay, ways you can find me on Instagram. Right there below, you see Jared, the floating yogi. Right there, there's a space, put a dot, put that in, you'll see my name. Jared should come up. All social medias. Also, you can check out you. Ooh, we gotta get this. Boom. Also, you can check out UE on all social medias as well. Urban Yogic Wellness and Education. That's a not-for-profit I work for, and we're restructuring health and wellness in the community, bringing the power of healing and evolution back to the individual, one healthy habit at a time. We want to implement change, but change that is sustainable, not something that's going to be a complete shift. And we hope that we can juggle this and the responsibilities that start to come back. We want things that can keep our life going and just improve. So that's not for profit. We do programs for it's. We do programs for schools, communities. We've been in numerous schools. We do workshops teaching kids about identity, movement, PE classes. and connecting the physical education with the mental education as well. Not just learning information, but how do those things connect? And what else is it? Implementing those healthy habits. We have something we do for the mind, something we do for the body, and something we do for our energies. Also, what else is there? We got retreats in Tobago coming up. We have a yoga teacher training as well. Uh, so it's a full-fledged list of things to do. Also, there's a program, I run the Mysore program, Ashtanga Mysore program in Suda Center, and that's in Arlington. Highly recommend checking it out. And that's the movement portion of that wellness practice that I was speaking of before. It, it allows us to have something that we do cyclically. So we can go back and see how we transition from place to place, from pose to pose, how we transition from one event of our day to the next, and make refinements. Once we can clean it up on the mat, they just start to magically fix themselves in the world. So that's what I encourage people to do. And that was one of the things that really helped me later on down in my healing journey. Oh, goodness gracious! I said there's a lot. There is a lot. I also host a I also host a book club on Monday nights. Monday nights we at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's virtual. We've been reading a few books. We're on like the fifth book now with The Alchemist, and I think that's just a good one to just check back in on each time I read it. And I'm in a different space in life. Different things stand out, and they're usually things for me to work on and to grow from. And I also do a virtual meditation on Thursdays. Today's Thursday, and just the breath work and the mindfulness portion of the practice as well. So it's a whole system we got flowing and going. So I'm glad I was able to tap back in with you because we've been doing the warrior pose for a few years, and I think it's time we got to bring something like that back, man. But anyway,
Yeah, we need to time, but now thank you for that, man. I know you do a lot, so y'all just tap in with him, love up on him. I do want to give y'all the schedule for the night. So this is how our schedule works. So essentially, we always start with a warm up. The warm up is we listen to the song "Heal Me." Jarek, you won't give us a synopsis of it per se of the song. What you will give us though is how you connect to the story as a black man. After that, we'll dive right into your story. I will ask you what broke you. If that resonates with you, then we'll go in. But if not, then essentially what I'll be asking you is what period, what was the time period in your life where you experienced a great difficulty, challenge, pain, adversity, etc. We'll go into your vices, right? What are the vices you used at that time to cope with that pain to get through the moment? After that, we'll transition into your transition. What was the transitional moment for you? What allowed you to start the process of healing? We'll talk about what helped you heal. What were the things that you were doing or strategies that you were employing to heal? And then ultimately, we'll end with um, what are your everyday habits that allow you to maintain a posture of wellness? So we're gonna start with the song. Any questions before we get started, Jared?
now I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's get it.
All right, cool. Let me pull up "Heal Me." Yeah. This is my prayer. See, my father never talked too much. Just that look in his eyes, deep stares out the window, told me that life was simple. But I would never know what he would never reveal. That sharp look in his face was pain he would conceal. He inadvertently taught me that real men don't feel. So don't follow your heart. Use it to advance your cause, but always follow your thoughts and make a smart decision. You should barely apologize and never ask permission. And when the world does a thing to try to break you down, don't tell a soul. They waiting just to take your crown. Your woman gon' think you weak if you express your pain. Your men gon' say you sweet though they be feeling the same. So get a vice. Couple Hennessy cigarette, live your life. Whatever you gotta do to get sleep at night. Cause for the longest you probably ain't sleeping right. Or even slept at all. When God calls, don't fight it, take a sigh relief. that you ain't gotta live no more in this grief. Yeah, yeah, the cruel world that we living in is hard and cold. You ain't a man till it scars your soul. Straight up, so don't ever express your feelings. Sit in silence, cause the only feelings you get are anger, hate, and violence. But see, the system got a process and a plan for that. Time is the only thing you got, so never hand them that. So if you ever truly feel like you about to break, get you a pencil and a notebook, let your mind escape. Writing is the only place where we can feel free. After he died, I read his notebook, he wrote, Heal me. Heal me, yeah. Heal me. Mama, don't nobody understand me. I won't make it out unless you come down and heal me. Yeah, heal me. They don't know the pain I've been going through. I call on your name cause I know that you can heal me. Was he really that strong? Or just putting up a front? Did death come too soon? Or was it something he wanted? After 66 hard years of hiding the tears, did he get a reward? Well, let me make this clear that I think his vice got him. Think he used to cope with life, just took the life out of him. Them cigarettes that he was smoking all them stressful days. But we still had a few good days, and I knew, cause he would smoke one or two, but otherwise a pack. I used to ask him not to smoke again, but what I should have said was breathe, pop, don't hold it in. We do yoga to get peace these days, but them Carolina preachers didn't teach these ways. It was suffer and survive. If you don't get your blessings in this life, if you tired, you can get them when you die. He used to hit that cigarette and play too much. That he got cancer and ain't say too much. He said, except, heal me. Oh, heal me. Mama, don't nobody understand me. I won't make it out unless you come down and heal me. Yeah, brother. How do you relate to that? How do you relate to that story?
Man, man. The first one the one that stood out the most was the Men Don't Cry and the right to get it out. Just writing is cathartic because I don't know what. Just being able to sit through the thoughts to actually see what it is in this reality, in this 3D, 4D, it just hits different. And that was impactful for me in my journey. And before I even knew about a journey or what it was just the only thing I knew. Now, this is what I was going through. I got proof. I could cement it in my mind. Like now I can get through it. I can get past it because once I can understand the problem, the issues come, the ways around it just start popping out. Once you can see it for what it is. So yeah, writing was impactful. Another one, the line slipped in my mind now, but it was about the the lady using something against you. I'm not able to hear you.
I said your woman gonna think you weak if you express your pain. Your brother's gonna say you sweet though they be feeling the same.
That part, yeah. See,
Yeah.
that that was another one that stood out. It was just it created conflicts of when to speak on things, when is too much, when should I like stop being an emotional or verbal punching bag. That was it was so that I was like, okay, those two, and it was one more. It was one more. It was three of them that like hit me. I think there was three. The Men Don't Cry, the Don't Express It, and the same with your boys too, because you talk to them. Well, this was back in it has shifted so drastically over the years. All the work that people been doing is really shifted. Like I can have in-depth conversation with my guys now, and like um, emotionally articulate. They're able to see, to explain what's going on, talk about it, and then release it. At least some of it. But there's been a shift. But that was an issue. I didn't have that. So with me trying to change, me trying to actually express certain things, I didn't have the community that would support me expressing it and then not see me as like lesser than. So
Yeah. Well, look, I thank you for that. That makes sense, right? We as black men, we're always trying to find. I mean, there's room for us to always be finding ourselves. As human beings, we're always finding ourselves. But I think as black men, we're rediscovering what manhood looks like for us in America, because how America has taught us manhood isn't necessarily connected to the healthiest being for a male. So we thank you for sharing, man. Let's dive right into your story. Um, it's all about you. Now, I always tell people like it'd be quick for people to be like, "Oh, this is a safe space," and I do want you to know that it is safe between you and I. But other than that, you're on the internet, so it ain't safe. And I want you to speak and share what you feel safe to speak and share.
that's that.
What
Um,
what broke you?
what broke me? It was a couple breaks. I got kicked out at 19. You know, masculine energy. I'm trying to flex. He flexing. I'm like, okay. He like, it's time to go. All right, you right. It's time to go. So I was couch surfing for a minute. Stayed, and then I got to a point. All the couch surfing is over. All the waves have settled. The tides are done. And I was sleeping in my car for a minute. And then I was like, yeah, what are you doing with yourself? How did you get here? How did you let yourself get here? How did you not use every moment you had? And sleeping in the car. And then I was like, yeah, I got to make a change. So it was all about action. It was all about what's the next step. Um, so I started working like UPS Enterprise. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere near the fitness, nowhere near any of it. And that came out of left field, actually. Yeah. So then I started working at UPS. I'm in a band this whole time as well. Surreal Expressions. Uh, this will play into one of your later questions. We acronymed the name for S from Surreal, EX from Expressions, and we were the sex band. Go Go Band. So it was an interesting time. Uh, and then for a few years, I started shifting and I started working at UPS full time. Then I started driving. Then I started dabbling in real estate. And then I quit UPS. I just got fed up. I got fed up with the management. They started like hounding me, you need to be here on time. You need to be here at 8:44, even though your start time is 8:45. I was like, yeah, now y'all just being petty. We got a union, that's uncompensatory time. I do read. Okay. So this is where yoga starts to come in. I watch a rack of anime. And during that time, I was like, I'm about to quit this job, but UPS legit is a lot of activity, and it's keeping me relatively healthy, relatively in shape, or so I thought at the time. So I was like, what can I do that I can stick with that'll keep me focused? And I was like, I could do running, and then I just thought about it. I was like, I could go running, but then I thought about like the cold days. I was thinking about the rainy days. I was thinking about the hot days, and I was like, each one of those is an excuse for me to not show up. I want to take all the excuses away. What can I do to take all the excuses away where it's just me and my word and my ability to follow through? So uh, I watch anime, and in the anime, they always talk about meditation. They always talk about charging your chi. They talk about yoga. You got to be flexible in the body and the mind. Be like water, Bruce Lee. So I was like, well, let me try this yoga situation out. And the first class I went to, I was not prepared for it. It is exactly what you think and see on TV. Breathe. A white woman at the top of the screen, or in front of the class. Spark energy through your fingertips. Shine your heart bright. I'm like, what? I don't even Yo, of course,
Yo, do that again.
bruh. Yo, no, I'm just looking around the room. I'm the only one in there. I'm the only black guy in there. Nah, it was I'm the only black guy. It was a black girl in the class, and it was like 15 white people. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is for me. And it had nothing to do with the people in there. It was just the vibe. So I always do everything twice, and I dab on it, and then I'm out. So the second class, I ain't research it. I ain't researching none of these classes. It was just what fits my schedule. Boom. All right, 10:30. Let's go. 10:30 on a Saturday. This guy had a lead Ashtanga class. I didn't know what I was getting into, and during that class, it pushed me in ways. It did challenging things, but I could see I was capable of doing it eventually. Maybe not everything, but some of them. And I was exhausted at the end. So we go into Savasana, we call it rest pose, right? So during that rest pose, you just lay there. It'll be like 3, 5 minutes or so, and you lay there. And then you get up and you leave the class. So they I'm snoring during the rest show, like obnoxiously loud snoring, and I don't even snore. And they own out. I was so far gone. They like do this loud chant. It's a ah oh three sounds. They belt it loud. I'm still snoring through it, yo. And the dude comes over and like taps me, pushes me, wakes me up. It's like, hey, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I'm trying to pull my life together. He was like, no, you got like 15 minutes for the next class. Uh, if you have any questions, let me know. And just pay attention to how you're feeling. Hopefully you're feeling good. So I ran out that jump and I just felt hot. I didn't smoke at the time. I barely drank. It just weren't my thing. But then the way I felt in my body was just wow. So after that, I was hooked. I went back the second time and I had the same feeling. I was like, how can you duplicate this like that? So that's what hooked me into to yoga. Um, so I started practicing for a while, and then I ended up quitting UPS, and I started working with a contracting company. I started working with the real estate business a little bit more intensely. And then I was like, yeah, this isn't me either. So I segued into teaching. I was like, if I'm gonna teach, if I'm gonna do this yoga thing, I gotta do it. And I'm making a decision, a conscious decision that I gotta follow through with this. So, you gonna pay for this training? Yes. And here I am, teaching at the African American Museum for the year anniversary. Uh, Co-hosted a retreat with my homie Ahmed and what was it? Nassau, Costa Rica. We got Tobago coming up, camping trips, just finding ways to integrate the benefits and the tools that we get from yoga into our daily life. And it's been great. It's been a beautiful ride, yo. A ride, nonetheless.
So thank you for all of that. Let me take you back. So you talked about being kicked out of your home by your father, I'm apparently, or another male figure in the house, and it's kind of put you in a space where the real world hit you super quick. Can you describe like the condition of your spirit or your energy during that time?
Pure fire. Pure fire.
Purifier or pure fire?
Pure fire. Hot. That's what it was. And everything I did, it was learning to temper the fire. But at the time, I didn't care.
Why was it so hot? I mean, what pushed you to feel?
the space, yeah, the space I was in, you know, no one likes things not going according to plan, and I had a different plan than that, and here it is. And, I'm here in a minute. It was like I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. I shouldn't be here. This wasn't what I had planned. So how did I get here? Start retracing the steps, and then it was after enough of the retracing the steps. It was like, all right, I'm a very simple man. I don't like to dwell on things too long. It shouldn't be too hard. So once I go through it about three, 4 times, maybe my mind about 300. Who knows? I don't even see them all. But once I can see it clearly, it's about making action, moving forward. So transmuting that fire, using it, so I can work 16 hours, 17 hours.
So, what was the transitional phase for you? Like coming from this darker place to a place of like starting to elevate, starting to heal. What gave you the permission, the insight, the motivation to start the healing journey?
To this day, I don't even say I started a healing journey. I, I'm healing. It it can be seen as a journey, but I never started one. I never had the idea to start one. I never. The change just happened with being tired of the space that you're in.
Mm,
It's like be self-reflective, see the problem clearly, and the problem is us
right.
because we get in our own way. I get in my own way. I ain't gonna speak for everybody, but you know. So once I can see me a little bit clearer, then I know my habits, I know the things I'm fall into, and I try to avoid those things, or I'll find balance within those things. And it's not easy, but you know, that's life. I
That's
feel
life.
like too many people are looking at life to be all like rainbows and sunshine, when you don't appreciate the sunshine if it ain't the rain. You don't get the rainbows without it. So it's like just enjoying the two sides of life.
Right.
But it was great using the energy. I was able to do ridiculous stuff. I was able to, be in the band. I was able to work 2 jobs. I was able to like be there and have a community outside of work. Have a community outside of my family. Some like a group of people that we just mesh. And I was able to put that fire into that hit up the boys when couch surfing. Like, hey, I ain't trying to stay too long in one house. What's up? It's 13 people in the go-go band.
Right. We can section out who gonna we can section out the pillows.
You know what I mean?
We can schedule it out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the fire was pure fire, transformative fire.
Recount the time for us when you were healing, right? So you go through this transition. Now it's really about the healing process. But recount for us, like, when did your healing process start? Like, and what did it entail? What did it look like?
So this is where it gets a little. This is why it gets a little challenging with the healing. It started in like 8th grade. Yeah, it started in 8th grade. Uh, I lied. 9th grade. That's when I failed English, and I had to stay back. Not stay back, but I had to go to summer school. And during summer school, we were writing poetry. One of the one of the projects was to write a poem. So we had to memorize like some poem that's already written and then write something. And I was reading The Raven, and I like memorized the whole thing. Then I started writing, and then after I wrote, they were like, "Oh, this is really good. Even the grammar and everything is right. Why are you here?" I was like, "Oh, my teacher didn't like me. It is what it is." And he was like, "Okay." Everyone said I did good. I was like, "All right." I got a little bit of clarity as to how I got into this situation and some of the ways that I probed this person who didn't really like me to begin with to get me to fail said class. All right. I probably didn't have to do some of those things. I get that. So it helped me to see the situation better, learning like a format of poetry and writing and in that formal setting. I wrote before, but that helped to structure things for me. And that helped to get me a little bit more consistent with writing and consistent with seeing my thoughts, because that's all writing really was for me. And then I could start to filter out the ones that were too consistent, and the ones that were too consistent, maybe it means acting on them. Or maybe the ones that are too consistent, it just means writing it out, because that writing is really cathartic. Get a whole bunch out. And then the apps are closed, mind space is clear. So that was when it started. But I had no connection or idea of a healing journey. And then it hit again uh, when I started doing yoga at in 2016, 2015. Yeah, it started to click again because I mentioned I watch a lot of animes. So in anime, they have a whole bunch of morals and values, pretty traditional morals and values that they stand on. Some of them might be quite outlandish, like they're saving the world, but they have morals and values that they teach and principles that they teach throughout the different animes. So those started to connect and resonate with the yoga philosophy. So as I started watching anime, it was like a form of self-reflection, and then that got me to think about myself, think about what I'm doing, how I'm affecting the people around me a little bit different. Of course, relationships were another one, but we ain't buzzing that. But those are the main ones.
Got you. Of all the ones you named, how many you still do?
All of them, but I've fallen off on writing.
What's caused you to fall off on writing?
Mm. Probably like me lying to myself, saying that I can see it clear.
So you can't see it clear.
I can see it as clear. It's clear to me, but if I write it down, I better be clear. But I'm just okay with the fact of where it is now. So falling off.
Got you.
Yeah, yeah. But the motivation's been coming back. I've been the synchronicities have been lining up. Different people reaching out to me to do things that cause me to have to write. So, yeah, not necessarily like poetry. I don't care about that. It could be something as simple as a journal entry. And just write down my thoughts or whatever's coming in my head for a minute, whatever.
Right.
Just the concept of writing.
Right.
Uh, and I was also piecing together some other educational content. I have some quick studies coming out for chakras, for the koshas, the doshas, the seven, I mean the 8 limbs of yoga. So I had to like actually write those out and then make it a little bit more creative. So that was that was really challenging just to get out. I can speak it all day, but just to put it down and have it in this 3D, 4D like that, it was challenging. But once I got it off, it was like I felt the weight that I knew wasn't there. That's why I know I gotta get back to the writing.
Right.
Yeah. I don't feel like we ever truly get healed. I feel like it's a continual process. But I feel like the things that we're healing from are spaces for us to evolve more so.
What does your everyday pattern look like? Because
Um,
I'm assuming some of the stuff you talked about you do, but what do you do every day? Like, what's the like go to every day for
every day.
for tapping in?
Every day I wake up in a minimum of 15-minute meditation, a minimum of 10 minutes of breath work. Then I do my practice, a minimum of the sun salutations, which is 5 sun salutation A's and 5 sun salutation B's. It'll take about 15, 20 minutes. But my whole practice is about 2 hours. Uh, and that's my bare minimum. Something for the mind, something for the body, something for the energy. Uh, Also, I like to add a J. A J, a J a day will keep everything else, everything negative away. So that's my. I don't recommend that for everyone. That's a me thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no J for me.
See, but and that was one thing that helped me to relax. I didn't know how to relax.
Mm.
So that was one of the reasons I didn't actually. I smoked the first time I smoked. I actually didn't feel it per se. I didn't know what was happening. But the other time where I didn't enjoy it, like the next time was like maybe a year later, and I tried it. I was like, this. I kept fighting the relax. It took me a few times to actually enjoy it. But then once I realized I was just fighting it, and I was like, oh, this will let you just let go, and you can hold on to what you needed.
Right.
But that's my practice. That's my wellness practice. It's about 3 hours.
Jack, I feel like people often ask me like how long do these things have to be, and I tell them under an hour. We really go as clear as the person is. I think you have been very clear today. One about what you dealt with. Two, what allowed you to transition, how you maintain. You're obviously as a yoga instructor. Um, your daily practice is part of the process of tapping in, which allows you to get to a space where you can heal. And so I'm thankful that we got a chance to like really rock with you tonight because right, it's not the length of the conversation that matters to me the most. It's the potency in which the speaker is able to communicate. Hey, this is what I was dealing with. This is how I was challenged by it. But ultimately, this is what started my healing process, and this is how I move forward doing the things that I need to do with transparency, with vulnerability. For you, man, if somebody right was listening to this call right now, and you felt like they were having a similar moment, what would you say to them to put a smile on their face, or what could you say to help them through this moment?
Hmm. It was a tricky one. Use what you're feeling right now, not with anger, not with hate, with, with determination.
Got you. Use what you got right now with determination.
Mm-hmm.
Simply put, but says so much, right?
Yeah,
Use what you got
that's
right
why
now.
it's so long.
Whatever you got right now, just use it. Be determined to use that.
Yeah.
Let's get to your three P's, man. When do you feel most peaceful?
meditation right before I open up the eyes. Right while the eyes are still adjusting to the light, that space right there, that's magic right there.
Magic.
Uh,
When do
that's
you when do you feel most powerful?
after I finished an entire 2 hour practice, right before the rest, and I'm about to lay down, like, yeah, I did that. Third series, baby. Let's go. Powerful. Push through all them chaturangas, all them jump backs, all them handstands. Yeah, after I do all that, oh yeah, I'm feeling good. Ain't never going, come on now.
I'm with it. When do you feel most purposeful?
Hmm. This is like a duel. This is a dual wielding situation, but when I'm teaching, in different types of teaching, like I mentioned, the book club, that's one because it's a whole different type of connection. We can talk about something that doesn't necessarily come from my mind, and so we all just have a view on it. And also the My Soul Room. I was mentioning the Super Center. I'm the program director and the lead teacher of the My Soul Room. G is as well a teacher. Um, that room is magic. I got like a 60-some-year-old guy in there with Parkinson's from things like just seeing the change from him walking into him leaving out, seeing the energy shift over the year he's been practicing, how, like literally how he holds himself, his posture, and it's not just him. It's 35-year-old people, 28-year-old people, 24-year-old people making like, oh, I had a knee replacement, and they come in limping to walking. And it's not even about me doing something; it's them taking the time to make the connection between their mind and body, to figure out how to make those small movements, those adjustments, how to hold the hip differently, even though we don't hold the hip, but how we
Right.
can hold the femur. The hip ain't even the thing, but whatever. But how we can hold the femur into the pelvis. What muscles are keeping it there? Like, and I don't have to have words. I don't have to explain that. You just go through the flow and they just start piecing it together. I don't even speak. I don't even speak the same English as the guy, the same language as the guy with Parkinson's. And seeing him shift, it man, purposeful,
Powerful play. Purposeful.
yeah, and powerful. Dad on it.
Dope, man. Dope, dope. Jared, we thank you for your share. You're a practitioner of health, and your job, your work, your purpose is rooted in essentially helping people get free flow movement in their bodies, but also in their minds. You know, one thing we learned about warrior, learned at Warrior Pose is that, especially because it was accentuated by you, is like, yo, this is not just about your body. This is a spiritual experience, and so it gives us space to tap in. Y'all who are listening, once again, it's the Heal Me campaign, brotherly conversations, nightly conversations with other African American men as they tell us their stories of difficulty and triumph and essentially how they got through it and how they maintain. Our guest tonight has been Jarek, the yogi, floating yogi, who has been very precise in telling us about what he dealt with, but even just clear about like, this is my thing, this is what I dealt with, but this is how I got out of it, this is how I maintain. And he gave us a smorgasbord of practices that somebody who might watch this live or watch this video could implore to heal. Jared, how do you feel?
Fired up, like I'm working and winning.
You are working and winning. Well, look, we thank you, brother. Once again, y'all, my name is Yusha Saab, recording artist, motivational speaker, master certified life coach, and it's the Heal Me campaign. See y'all on Sunday night.